It's very interesting how people find issues with other people's situation, other people's world, other people's family. It's very easy to find difficulties and point fingers at other people's family, the way they live, the way they survive. It's very easy to criticize other people, criticize other people's food, different country, you don't like it. Like people from Europe criticize. In many African countries, people eat worms, dry worms. I think in Southern Africa, it's called maponya worms. In Central Africa, it's called mbinzo. It's got different names in many African countries. And trust me, this stuff is filled with protein. Real protein. None of those. My dad eat that stuff every single day. Some of his best meals. It's very easy to see people from Europe say, "Oh, Africans eat insect and stuff." Some people eat it. Like that's a delicacy in Uganda, in some of Eastern Congo as well. People eat that. Well, if you ask them how good it is very good. I've eaten both of them. Very, very nice. But a European will tell you, okay, this is not a good food. This is African or whatever. But oysters. Who eats oysters? I don't eat none of that. I'm sorry. Yes, African learned to eat oysters through influence of colonialism. And many things eating oysters and lobsters and all that. Lobsters and all that stuff. What the other stuff? Prawns are just cockroaches from the sea. Yes, that's the truth. Basically, scientifically, prawns are cockroaches from the sea. So the same people, laughing at you because you eat worms and, and senene in Uganda are the same people that eat cockroaches from the sea and mussels and stuff like that. Anyway, so what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing good. All right, so today we are going to watch something very interesting. It's one-on-one between Louis Farrakhan and a journalist from the West. So let's watch. I'm going to make a comment right after. Let's go.
You go to Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy, but there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted. 30 years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet. No, I will not allow America or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans?
This is crazy. You hear that? This is crazy. Louis Farrakhan. This man is very, very strong. Let me tell you first of all, this man tells so much stuff, okay, that many people perceive as the truth, that he's been banned for social media. Yeah, he has been banned from the social media platforms. Instagram kicked him off, YouTube kicked him off, Facebook kicked him off, because he's been telling you, when they start kicking you off, it's never for nothing. Louis Farrakhan, he was next to one prominent American freedom fighter, Malcolm X. He worked next to Malcolm X, and many things have happened since then. But this is very interesting. So he's responding to this journalist saying, you went to Nigeria, one of the most corrupt country, if not in Africa, but in the world. Then he straightened. I love that. Put him to his place. Make him see his own reality. Let me start this over so I can make a comment. Let's go.
You go to Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world.
Wow. Nigeria. They say you are the most corrupt country in the world. Is this truth? Well, we know that there's corruption in Nigeria. No doubt about that. In many African countries too. We know that. But is corruption limited to Nigeria? That's the big question. Listen to this.
So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy, But there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted 30.
You're trying to force people in Africa into a system that you've just accepted. You're talking about democracy. Many African countries are judged based on democracy. Are they democratic enough? Sorry, excuse my cat. Okay, I got 2 of them. They're good boys. I love pets and 2 dogs. So, thank you. So, African countries have been forced to adopt democracy. Democracy is not native to Africans. Okay, and I know democracy has nothing to do with corruption. They're supposed to make you believe that democracy eradicates corruption, but that's not the truth. The truth is that all of these countries in the world are corrupt. You know, he was talking to an American journalist, so let's talk about America. America is corrupt. I mean, is America not corrupt? Let's talk about this a little bit. Okay, a country where a person can basically, as a member of Senate, okay, vote a law to go to war, even though war is not necessary. Is that not corruption? America is a system where companies can go to Senate people, company can sponsor politicians, you know, like a big company can go to a politician and say, listen, we see you trying to run for governor. You want to be a governor of the country. We can give you money. We got millions of dollars for you. We got $40 million for you. Okay? We can give you $40 million. Our company produces weapons. Okay? But we're going to give you 40 million so you can run and win office. But once you are in office, you make sure you send us business. How do these people send them business? These people in politics. If we sell weapons and you have to send us business, what does that mean? It means if there is war, you need to accept war so that we can sell our weapons. You're going to recommend countries at war. Let's give a very simple example. If America has to go to war against Iraq, America doesn't produce weapons. It's private companies that produce weapons. So these private companies who sponsor politicians and asking them then to send them business, what's going to happen if they go to Senate to decide? Because you have to go to Senate to decide whether America is going to go to war or not. People of Senate saying, yeah, let's go to war. Do you think the people that have been sponsored by the companies that create weapons will say no if they had to make a vote between going to war or not? Let me repeat my question. America may go to war in Iraq or Afghanistan, okay? And they have to go to Senate to discuss, to vote whether we're going to war or not. Do you think the people in Senate who receive the money from companies that build weapons, airplanes, missiles, will vote no, let's not go to war? No, they will definitely vote, let's go to war. Okay, they call it lobbying. That's what it's called. Lobbying means bringing money to politicians so the politician can send you business. They call it lobbying. In Africa, they call it what? Corruption. It's the same thing. Me going to a politician selling weapons, saying, okay, my company sells weapons, but I'm going to give you money so you can run for office. But if you win, make sure you send us business. If a country like Ukraine goes to war with Russia, make sure you send weapons, American-made weapons, send them to Ukraine. These weapons are not made by the American government. These weapons are made by Raytheon. That's a big gun-making company. Lockheed Martin. Boeing. Yes, I know many people think Boeing is just a company that's built airplanes. No, they build many weapons and many other companies. All these companies sponsor politicians. And do you think this politician will want the war to end in Ukraine? They don't want the war to end in Ukraine. The bottom line is Ukraine, in fact, with Russia, had a discussion about finishing the war. Right at the beginning, they had a talk through Turkey. Turkey mediated it. Ukraine and Russia had a discussion on finishing the war until Boris Johnson flew to Ukraine and this other American guy flew to Ukraine. The goal was to tell them, continue the war. Don't drop. We're going to finance you. We're going to send you weapons. We're going to do everything. So the bottom line is, we're sending you weapons. You're going to fight. We're making money through sending you weapons because Ukraine has to buy the weapons. It looks like America is giving weapons to Ukraine, but it's not. America is sending weapons to Ukraine, but Ukraine has to pay back the weapons they're taking. So the money is not going to America. Money is going to the private companies that build those weapons. And this private company got this business through Senate, meaning the people in power, politicians. that have voted that America stays at war. And some people in the Senate of the USA buy stocks. They buy stocks in these weapons company. Now you tell me, how can you want peace if you're making money through war? Please tell me. Is that corruption or not corruption? Let's continue.
30 years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are.
He said it's only 30 years ago that black folks got the rights to be human beings in this country. And he's talking about, in America, America has a lot of things. It's before 1960s, black people could not marry white people. In the United States of America, it was prohibited. You go to jail for that. There's one couple that's made headlines for trying to break the rules, where I think a white man and a black woman, they loved each other so much, and they were jailed first until they were the first one to be officially a couple. It's very recent, 1960. He said it's only 30 years ago because this video obviously is 1996. Only 30 years ago, you allowed black people to be people. You can't come, you have no moral authority to tell how corrupt Nigeria is or any other African country. Let's go.
You should be quiet. No, I will not allow America or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb?
Wow. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb?
And killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Wow. That's crazy. You're calling Nigeria corrupt, but has Nigeria dropped a bomb and killed innocent people the way it was done in Japan? I mean, were these people involved in war? Were all these civilians involved in war? Did they deserve this? I mean, if you bring in democracy, let's say Japan was a bad country and they send people to Europe to fight next to Germany in order to create World War II. That's you being the better person, or supposedly the better person. Why would you go to Japan and drop a bomb that kills everybody? Explain that to me. Let's go.
Hiroshima and Nagasaki, have they killed off millions of Native Americans?
Again, fellas, this is the hypocrisy we see every day. The hypocrisy is you people are primitive. They don't say it that way anymore, but the hypocrisy is the way you behave is not appropriate. You are the most corrupt countries in the world. You do the most horrific things, unacceptable. The reason why your countries are down on the ground is because you don't know how to lead. Yes, some of the things are truth, okay? We still have a lot of work to do in terms of truthfulness, in terms of being genuine, in terms of leadership. We have a lot of work to do. But are they exempted from the same crime? Are we even in the same level of criminality and negative things that we've done to the world? To the world? No. Africa is nowhere near that. Yeah, some African leaders steal. Yes, there is corruption here and there. Absolutely truth. But the level of corruption at the highest level of the world, it's unacceptable. You just have to look at the situation of Iraq. That tells you the corruption. After people thought those bombs of mass destruction bombs. You remember when that guy say we have found bombs of mass destruction in these countries? They have the ability to destroy. We need to go. You remember that? Did they find the weapons of mass destruction? No. But that story took everything from the world, took everything from Iraq. Just look at Afghanistan. Look at Syria. Look at what happened in Japan, 1954. Look at many places. So, can we compare each other in terms of corruption and negativity? I don't think so. Yes, Africa has a lot of things to do, but it's not near the scale of what's happening. What's happening in Ukraine today has nothing to do anymore with the Ukrainians and the Russians. I don't even think the Ukrainians have the rights to stop that war. I don't think the Ukrainians can decide the war. They cannot decide to end the war. They don't have that anymore. Because reconstructing Ukraine will make money to companies in the US. Do you hear that? Yes. Some companies went to Ukraine to go and examine the lands to see what reconstruction they can do. Did you hear that? Now, do you think a company that can make money from reconstructing Ukraine will choose to reconstruct or rebuild 10 broken houses or 100,000 broken houses? Let me repeat that. A company that's built houses, that's get a market in Ukraine to rebuild Ukraine, do you think they'll be happy to rebuild 10 houses or 100,000 houses? 100,000 houses. Did you say that? Okay. So if they need 100,000 houses to make more money, do you think they want the war to end today? Thank you very much, fellas. Hypocrisy for you.